Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of our French Revolution series named Révolution, where a king's assembly became his undoing. In 1789, Louis XVI called the Estates General, but by June, delegates swore an oath to reshape France. An oath, to be correct. From Versailles halls to Paris streets, voices like Mirabeau and Desmoulins turned deadlock into defiance. What drove the Third Estate to challenge royal power head on? Join us to uncover the National Assembly that lit Paris aflame, just shy of a fortress fall. In January 1789, Louis XVI initiated preparations for the Estates General by ordering the election of representatives and the drafting of Cahiers de Doléances, following his December 1788 announcement that the Assembly would convene in May. The people seized this chance to pour centuries of hardship into their words. Unjust laws and heavy taxes had long burdened their lives, while the powerful nobility and clergy paid little. Louis had called this assembly to force the nobility, defiant across the provinces, to accept new taxes amid a financial crisis. To counter them, he doubled the Third Estate's delegates, relying on the bourgeoisie to tip the balance. Yet, on May 5, 1789, when he solemnly opened the Estates General at Versailles, his plan unraveled. The bourgeois representatives, now a majority, refused to bow to tradition. They rejected the rule of one vote per estate, where clergy and nobility each held a single vote against the Third Estate, and demanded one vote per delegate, a change that would secure their dominance. Until the king yielded, they halted proceedings, their standoff stretching weeks. The Third Estate, bearing taxes like the taille, while elites stood exempt, had reached their limit. What began as Louis' bid to control the nobility now threatened his own authority. Ironically, it was the clergy who shifted the balance at Versailles. After weeks of deadlock since May, several priests broke ranks in mid-June 1789, joining the Third Estate's stand against the king. Strengthened by this alliance, the bourgeois delegates acted decisively. On June 17, they declared themselves the National Assembly, a new body claiming to speak for all of France, a move without precedent in royal history. Louis XVI scrambled to regain control. On June 20th, he ordered the Estates General's meeting hall locked, citing repairs, to block the National Assembly's debates. Stunned, the delegates regrouped at a nearby tennis court, the Salle de la Palacorte. There, amid echoing walls, they swore an oath to stay united and draft a constitution for the kingdom. This tennis court oath, taken that day, marked a turning point, later immortalized by painter Jacques-Louis David as a symbol of revolutionary resolve. 3 days later, on June 23rd, Louis struck back, summoning the estates to a royal session and ordering the National Assembly to disband. But the delegates stood firm, their defiance a revolt unlike any the monarchy had faced. What began as a tax dispute had birthed a challenge to royal power itself. King Louis XVI tried to shut down the growing rebellion on June 23rd, ordering the members of the National Assembly to disband, but as he left the hall, a heavy silence filled the room. Not a single delegate moved. Earlier that day, they had already vowed to stand their ground. The royal master of ceremonies, unsure what to do, rushed after the king and returned to deliver the order once more. Again, the delegates said in quiet defiance. Then, Honoré Gabriel Riquetti, better known as the Comte de Mirabeau, one of the revolution's most powerful voices, rose to his feet. With a steady resolve, he declared, "Go tell those who sent you that we are here by the will of the people, and we will only leave under the force of bayonets. When the Estates General was called, Mirabeau was rejected by the nobility and instead was elected by the Third Estate of Aix-en-Provence. This shift was symbolic. He aligned himself with the common people not out of pure idealism, but also because his own class had largely disowned him. Politically, Mirabeau believed in constitutional monarchy rather than absolute rule. He didn't want to overthrow the monarchy, but rather reform it, limiting the king's power through law and representative government. He became a powerful orator in the National Assembly, calling for civil liberties, fiscal reform, and put an end to feudal privileges. The Assembly held firm. Outmatched by their determination, Louis XVI was forced to give in. On June 27, he officially recognized the National Assembly, a powerful alliance of commoners and clergy, and crowds in Paris cheered what seemed like a victory for the people. But the celebration didn't last long. By early July, the mood in Paris had shifted. Many believed the king's acceptance was just a cover for something darker. Their fears only grew as 20,000 royal troops, including German and Swiss regiments, began amassing around the city, gathering in Champ de Mars. On July 12, tensions finally snapped. In the gardens of the Palais Royal, Camille Desmoulins stepped onto a table and addressed the growing crowd. His voice carried through the square. The Swiss and German battalions will soon march from Champ de Mars to crush us. There is only one choice: to arms! Let's wear cockades so we know each other. Crowds surged into the Tuileries Gardens and Place Louis XV on July 12, 1789, their anger spilling over from Desmoulins' words. But a regiment of German dragoons soon charged, sabers drawn, scattering the demonstrators. Relief came swiftly that day. French Guard regiments, royal troops tasked with order, chose Paris over the king. They firmly repelled the German assault, shielding the city from further violence. On that evening, an angered crowd claimed the capital street. Their target, the octroi, internal toll taxing goods entering Paris. These custom gates ringed the city, taxing food, wine, and firewood, burdens that crushed the poor while filling the pockets of officials and tax farmers. Guards searched every cart, often harassing merchants and workers. To the hungry and overtaxed, the octroi stood as a stark symbol of a system rigged for the rich. As unrest flared in 1789, Parisians struck back, tearing down barriers and storming toll offices. They burned records and smashed signs of fiscal injustice, seeing each blow as a step toward liberty, rivaling even the Bastille's fall. The clash with foreign troops had lit the fuse. By nightfall, the octroi attacks began, a fierce outcry against decades of oppression. On July 12, 1789, the tennis court oath had hardened into action. Mirabeau's words defied Louis XVI, cementing the National Assembly, while Desmoulins' cry rallied Paris against tolls and troops. The Third Estate stood backed by the clergy, and this shook the monarchy to its core, a spark now burning bright. How did this moment strike you? What do you think? Share your thoughts below and subscribe to follow up to episode 4, where a single day topples a symbol of tyranny. Like and share to trace history's next bold steps. Thank you very much for following up so far with episode 3. I will see you next time. Bye.